more than likely wasn't going to be making a wrestling-centric video for at least a little while, okay, and then to just do a little bit of a cleanup on the previous one, doing the Forbidden Door preview and all that stuff, okay. So my thoughts on the show after the fact, most of the stuff was really good, okay, a lot of it made a bunch of booking sense, okay, it was the easy decisions all the way down the line. Thankful that Pac won the three-way for the All-Atlantic title. Now we're going to see what he's going to be doing with it. I think the All-Atlantic title should probably take on the form of being like the Super Workers title, where you just go out and just have a banger of a match. The TNT title can become more of the building up a superstar, you know, the kind of guy who's just more character-based, and just try to do that thing right now, because it's kind of going to get lost in the shuffle, mostly because of Sammy Guevara's run with it, which was just kind of a back and forth between, oh, is Cody going to stay? No, he's going to take off. Okay, now we're going to have to push Sammy Guevara as a babyface, and he ended up fucking that up by just making himself all about being a simp for his woman, and now he's in the Jericho Appreciation Society. Sucks to suck. Try again in 6 months' time, okay? So, that was all good, okay? That was about the only one that I didn't call right. Oh, also didn't call the Bucks match right, but then, you know what, hey, it just kind of makes sense, given the fact that that was all a big comedy schmoz. Great card, all the way up and down. I think probably Will Ospreay, Orange Cassidy was probably match of the night. The run-in with Katsuyori Shibata, well, most people at the time, it was like, holy fuck, why the hell is he here? That was really cool and stuff. It just made zero fucking logical booking sense, okay? Like, what is the connection between Shibata and Ospreay? Nonsensical. It was cool to have the nice spot at the end of handing over the glasses from Cassidy over to Shibata, and it makes for a nice photo op and stuff, but realistically, in the grand scheme of things, might be missing something. But if you were going to have that run-in, okay, you were going to have the big shock there, which, judging by the crowd themselves, they did not see that one coming at all whatsoever, maybe because of the timing that it was there, okay, because there was a big beatdown that was coming, so it's like somebody's going to be coming out. Why the fuck is it the wrestler? Don't really know. He's not going to be working a lot of physical matches, but if this is going to be leading up to a Will Ospreay Katsuyori Shibata match down the line, I'm fucking there for it, because it was an incredibly good match, and that match into the future, if Shibata can even work, you know, just at about 75% of the capacity that he was prior to getting the old fucking dome caved in, thanks to some incredibly aggressive and disgusting headbutts with Kazuchika Okada back in Sakura Genesis 2018 or 2017. That poor fuck just missed the wave of when New Japan was the hottest product on earth, okay? And then, yeah, no, the rest of the card itself, yeah, just all played out formulaically, except for the botched, changed finish there with Adam Cole maybe getting a concussion. Haven't really heard any word of him and what his current situation is, but yeah, no, that poor fuck ended up getting concussed, okay? And then I think they just ended up cutting the match short, because it was 18 minutes. That one should have went 30, okay? So, Jay White hit his finish on Okada and then pinned Adam Cole after he was just kind of slumped over. So obviously Cole was in there to take the pin, because you're not beating Hangman because he's already taken enough big pins lately, okay? You're not pinning Okada because Okada doesn't count the lights for fucking anybody, okay? And then it's like, well, we got to put somebody in here. That's probably why it was a four-way at the end of the day. And then a lot of people at the time had some problems when it came to the big schmoz to end the show, okay? And it's like, oh, we're going to have another debut. No, okay, Claudio's coming down to the ring. The former Cesaro ended up facing off against Zack Sabre Jr. at the time. It's like, oh, okay, cool. That all made sense. Okay, big pop for the crowd. Okay, good match. Probably the best fed match you are ever going to see literally everywhere, because Zack Sabre Jr. is very fluid with what he can do inside the confines of the ring. Congratulations, terrific. Okay, a tanky got dropped on his head. I'm big happy by that. But the big schmoz to end the show, that actually made logical sense. I know a lot of people were pissed off by it, and it's like, why would you go off like it would be like just a bog standard 1998 NWO segment? And it's like, well, it kind of made sense, because you're building towards the blood and guts match, which I've seen clips of. Haven't seen the full match, but it looked like it was pretty bloody and pretty great, okay? And it looks like it's setting up a whole bunch of stuff down the line, which is what you're going to be doing with a big multi-man match like that. Where the Jericho Appreciation Society goes after this, don't really know, don't really care, doesn't really do that much for me. But yeah, that would be just I guess I went a little bit longer than I anticipated, but yeah, doing a little bit of a cleanup on that. prior to this stuff, okay, because this right here pisses me off tremendously. Not the character of Joey Ryan, okay, I was watching the indie stuff, okay, I was watching New Japan and all that stuff prior to AEW getting established, right, okay, and he was, without a doubt, the most in-demand indie worker out there, because he could do anything, okay, and he had a guaranteed pop when it came to just doing his finish, okay. This is the dude who was doing the dickplex. If you were watching indie wrestling between 2017 and 2018, you knew all about Joey Ryan. Whether you were a big Cornette head and he was literally saying that this would be the end of the business, you fucking old fossil, okay? This guy's, he's there to be a curtain jerker. Well, choose your words wisely, right? But he was never going to be a big main event guy, okay? And even when AEW was snatching everybody up and signing everybody at the beginning of the year, Joey Ryan, hey man, he was starting his own company, okay? He was really drawn big on the indies, and he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do my thing, try to set up my own indie company or get the boys some work. It's like, yeah, no, that seems like a fucking great way to go, because there's a lot of people that are workers, okay? There's just not a lot of spots for people to be on TV, okay, not a lot of farm systems, okay, reliable places where guys can go in and get the reps inside of the ring. That's what he was trying to set up, and he did, and it was successful. Until he ended up getting some cases thanks to Me Too running amok in professional wrestling and literally killing the fucking game. But even still, okay, let's give you some background on Joey Ryan, because you haven't heard his name for a minute, and, well, unfortunately, because, well, his story plays out like so many other Me Too cases that are out there, okay? Somebody decides to dogpile on him. He's a straight white guy, then you know what? Hey, yeah, we can just go ahead and cast you off to the side. Don't really need to follow through with any of my accusations. I just need to make them. This pisses me off, and then especially seeing this stuff here today, it just makes my blood boil. For wrestling fans with a keen interest in the scene, Joey Ryan will be a familiar name. For those of you who haven't heard him, strap in, because I'm about to tell you all about a professional wrestler with a magic penis who was once resurrected from the dead. Yeah, I watched All In as well. But anyways, it's important to stand out in wrestling. Yes, and this comes from Kotaku, of all places. Kotaku, Australia. So this should be like ultra woke. But then again, this was also written in September of 2019, about a year, about 10 months before all the accusations started to come out. So it's important to notice the tonal shift when it comes in the media here, okay? But anyways, it's important to stand out in wrestling, and having a unique gimmick is a pretty good way to gain an audience base and prominence or notoriety in the case of Ryan. It all started in 2015 with a fateful wrestling move, now colloquially known as the penis flip, but recently dubbed the U-Pornplex after Ryan earned a sponsorship with the pornography company. Like, this dude, by himself, is getting himself over, okay? Wrestling and Japanese wrestling promotion, DDT. And if you don't know, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking out myself as being a total fucking wrestling nerd on this one, but DDT is, well, it's a branch of what the fuck's it called, cyber geek, cyber pixel, whatever the fuck. Okay, they just recently bought Noah as well, which is the big competitor, or at least like depends on where you want to put All Japan right now, but they're one of the more serious businesses. DDT, on the other hand, if you ever heard anything about Kenny Omega wrestling a 9-year-old girl, Kota Ibushi wrestling a blow-up doll, it happened in DDT. They're a little bit of a fucked organization. They like to do the comedy stuff, they like to do the jokey, gimmicky stuff, and it's totally great. If you like that type of stuff, if you like comedy wrestling, DDT has you fucking covered. In fact, it's really hilarious. If you like something that you're never going to see on Western shores, you get kind of close every once in a while. Whenever you see Michael Nakazawa pop up on AEW like that, he originally came from DDT, and so did Kenny Omega, and it's like you can see the two different paths that one can really take, especially from humble beginnings such as that. But Ryan performed a unique maneuver, which involved him grabbing fellow wrestler Danshuku Dino. Oh, Dino, right? Yeah, no, he's a mainstay in DDT. Anyways, with the power of his ultra strong penis, here is that fateful moment. Yeah, I'm not going to play it, probably because it's either down or it's, I don't know, I'd probably get struck with it or something like that. But whatever would happen, okay, it would always end up at one point or another during a Ryan match where his competitor would end up grabbing onto the cup that he had on the front of his trunks, right? Because I don't think he was having people actually grab his dick. I could be completely wrong on this, but whatever, right? And then he'd just stand there, and then he'd flex, and then he'd give a big hip thrust, and then the guy would take a back bump, and that would be his finish. It's fucking funny, okay? It's funny, builds everything up to this big crescendo, okay? Does the dick flip, and then everybody goes on to watch the rest of the show, more serious aspects of the show, okay? But of course, it struck a nerve with some of the more humorless motherfuckers on earth. Needless to say, the ridiculousness of the move meant that Joey's self-dubbed WrestleMania moment went viral. Oh my God, you're invoking the name of the Fed, and you're trying to be serious about it. This is gonna ruin the business, says fucking resident basement dweller, curmudgeonly wrestling critic Jim Cornette, who would later refer to Ryan as a, oh, get your laughing hats on, folks, a putrid penis boy, and a half-baked brown and serve roll covered in pubic hair. Hardy har har har. Tell us more about your fucking fan fiction about 1975 house shows, you fucking old fossil. Just to give you an idea of the ire that Ryan drew. Thankfully, he shook off the criticism and began incorporating his deadly strong penis into the wrestling act permanently. Pull off great feats of strength with it, and even build his penis lore. It's fucking hilarious, dude, okay? If you don't like a good dick joke, you suck, okay? Well, that's Joey Ryan. He was basically on the top of the independent scene around 2018, 2019, once all of this stuff started to take off. In fact, everything was going incredibly well until about, well, just a little bit shy of 2 years prior to this. Right in June of 2020, when all of the indies were shut down because of the fucking coof, there was this little movement that went around called the speaking out accusations. That's the stupid hashtag that ended up clipping the momentum behind Marty Skrull, who I'm still pissed about. Like, that motherfucker should be getting work right now because he's tremendous. He has a great mind for the business. He had the pencil for ROH at that time, and ROH was retaining a whole bunch of talent. He ended up catching a case by some opportunistic cunt in NXT UK. Oh, I felt bad. It's like, great. So now a guy loses his fucking career, okay? He was one of the best that was out there, okay? And now he can't get any work on the indie scene out there. He was just booked recently, okay, for one show, okay, a triple threat match somewhere in the middle of the card. He totally fucking deserves it at this point, okay? None of the accusations on him panned out whatsoever. You're gonna see that that's a common theme. But Lindsay Dorado, oh yes, the white knight in the fucking cat hat, you know, the third wheel on Lucha House Party for the fucking Fed. Couple years ago. He's like, oh, well, I'm withdrawing myself from this booking because I can't be on the same card as that domestic abuser. No accusations, no police filings, nothing was ever filed against Marty Skrull, but he was going to go out there and he was going to pull the white knight card, but nobody should look up any of his previous convictions of him being a domestic abuser or a drunk driver, or hell, maybe both. But yeah, no, exactly. He's going to be the white knight in this situation. Again, another common theme that you're going to see here. But yes, no, all of a sudden, I think it was like June 21st, multiple wrestlers speak out or react to Joey Ryan's speaking out accusations. And again, this is when all of this shit started up trending, okay? And yeah, it claimed a bunch of fucking scalps. Off the back of what exactly? A bunch of opportunistic bitches trying to break into the fucking business, okay, to make a name for themselves. It makes me fucking sick, okay? And that whole speaking out hashtag, it ended up getting some fucking big mascot-headed bitch a fucking podcast on F4W. Denise Salcedo, you fucking cunt. Broadcast and voice having talentless bitch. Anyways, my beefs aside, she's talentless, but whatever, okay? Joey Ryan has been accused of 16 instances of sexual misconduct so far in the speaking out movement. More names could be to come. Glad they don't have a copy editor at Ringside News. No. Oh, now people who used to trust him are speaking out. Yes, his former tag team partner on the Indies, Candice LeRae, wife of Johnny Gargano. Okay, somebody who worked with him a lot on the indie scene. They were, I think, PWG tag team champions, right? World's Cutest Tag Team. Okay, they used to do a bunch of this stuff. Okay, they would do death matches. It's hilarious. The Young Bucks, in fact, had one of the first instances. They also did this at All Out last year, but there was a thumbtack covered shoe. They delivered super kicks to Candice LeRae. It was bloody and it was great because it showed like actual, parody between the sexes when it comes to wrestling, because it's not fucking real. It's all a work. So yeah, you can get away with that type of stuff. That's why the dude who has a magical fucking penis can flip over 300 pounders. Oh my god, whatever can you do when it's scripted? She was mortified. This was Candice LeRae released her public statement. It's along the same lines of, I had no idea what happened out there, and if something happened to these ladies, I feel bad for them. That was her statement. She was mortified and stated that her heart was breaking for those women who her former tag team partner abused. She didn't actually claim any of that stuff, but we can just go ahead and read this, okay, because her statement's right there. I'm mortified. I absolutely do not and never have condoned such horrible actions. I have zero tolerance for it. To the women he did this to, my heart breaks to you. I trusted this person. Reading these stories and learning how he acted sickens me, especially because you all trusted him too. I can't imagine how you felt for every woman and man who has been brave enough to speak out. I have nothing but love and respect for you. Again, did you see any of that stuff? I feel bad for the people who've been affected. Oh, okay, cool. I see. Wonderful. Announcer Rich Bocchini. I know a fair few people who are out there on the indie scene. I've never heard of this motherfucker before in my life. He's apparently an announcer for MLW, right? So I went and found him, and yeah, no, it's always that same wide-eyed soy grin on his face. And who's he sitting next to? Well, her name's Vita Scott. And if you don't know who Vita Scott is, let me tell you a tale. Okay, this is a fucking just somebody who was never very good inside the ring. Okay, she was, I think, the valet for the House of Truth in Ring of Honor. Okay, House of Truth was Truth Martini. Somebody else was in there as well, but it was also Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal kind of held together Ring of Honor all the way through until its dying days, but I like Jay Lethal quite a bit. I think he's an excellent worker. He's been great everywhere that he's ever went, but because Vita Scott's career didn't really take off because she's just a talentless, big-titted cunt, nothing ever came of her career. But a few years ago, she decided to try and Me Too Jay Lethal. Might have been around this time as well. Obviously, that didn't stick, but hey, guess what? She went on a Twitter tirade and everybody felt bad for her. Could you substantiate any of this stuff? It was kind of like Kimber Lee. You remember, she was that bitch, and we did that video prior to this stuff, which, hey, guess what? Whose prognostications ended up coming true, and who ended up deleting her fucking tweets, and then that guy's at least getting fucking bookings out there. Thank God. But no. She tried to make those accusations that, on several occasions, behind the scenes, Jay Lethal made me feel unsafe, and, he tried to proposition me for sex in order to move up in the company. Can you substantiate any of that stuff? No, I can't, but it definitely happened to me. Okay, cool. Now you get rewarded, okay? You post-wall hitting bitch. You got given a commentary gig for Warrior Wrestling out there? Great. See, this is why these broads do this. This isn't even just specific to professional wrestling, okay? Whenever you hear a Me Too accusation, it's always from a bitch. A bitch whose career either never took off or it's on the steep fucking decline because they never diversified their talents, okay? They bet on a lame horse that we're going to try to take them to stardom. It didn't end up working out for them, so, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to ruin your career just like I ruined mine. Terrific. Good strategy. Hope that works out for you. And there's never any repercussions for it, okay? This bitch tried to get Jay Lethal canceled from the wrestling business 20 fucking years down the shitter just because I felt a certain way well after the fact, okay? The only reason you got hired on is because of your big fucking cans, okay? It's not for your skills. It's not for your talking ability, okay? You're doing announcing, okay, on an indie program, okay? Warrior Wrestling, okay? The fact that you employ her, that says something about you, okay? And in the entire business at this point, thanks to the whole post-speaking out movement, has become a degeneracy that I just can't even fucking stomach at this point. But yeah, no, this is the type of motherfucker that props up these lying bitches because they face no repercussions for this shit. In fact, they get rewarded for it. They never check any of the receipts. The companies that are out there that do the hiring, okay, they never check the receipts. They just throw the guys off to the side. We can get another dick flipper somewhere else. Another villain, a guy who, you know what, had to reinvent his gimmick, went from a party boy to a very influential villain who every time to this day, whenever you hear somebody go too sweet, whoop whoop, It came from Marty Scurll. The motherfucker knew how to get himself over, okay? Those guys don't come along every single day. When was the last time you heard of any buzz from somebody on the indies? No? Okay, I'll wait. No? Still, no, nobody on the indies got over quite like Marty Scurll and quite like Joey Ryan. But because, oh yeah, you got some dogpiling over here. But if these were serious accusations, wouldn't you think somebody would have been talking about this beforehand? Really does get the old fucking noggin jogging now, doesn't it? Anyways, yeah, so Candice LeRae, we already went through her statement. Once again, can you back up any of this stuff? You were his tag team partner. You guys would have been traveling a lot of different places, okay? And because you're married to another man, and Joey was, at least for one point in time, also married, but then, hey, you also smashing rats on the side, which probably ended up costing him, okay? But if somebody who's working that close with him just never seen any of this stuff coming, kind of like some other people that we're going to see as well. In fact, yeah, no, let's go over to the Elite. The Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and I think even at this time, it was still Cody Rhodes, who, if we break down the family dynamics there, I really like the Young Bucks, okay, and I think that they're successful due to the part that they kind of stay out of a lot of this fucking nonsense, okay, and that they actually have a good family structure behind them. More on that, maybe if anybody cares about it, as opposed to Cody Rhodes, who spurgs out at the Fed, okay, only until his contract comes up, then they wheel an entire dump truck full of cash up to his door, and his fucking screeching harpy of a wife just continues to egg him on wherever he goes. That's a horrible relationship, and the moment that Cody Rhodes falters, she's out the fucking door, okay? Don't even worry about it. But the Elite were traveling up and down the roads with them, especially the Bucks, who made their name on the indies, okay? Keep that in mind, and they work together, Joey Ryan, Candice LeRae, and the Young Bucks, consistently on the indies, especially in PWG, and it's a very small, that was where all the super matchups on the indies would happen anyways. But yeah, no, a lot of that stuff would happen in the locker room, okay, so they'd have pretty close access to one another, but they didn't see anything that was going on, okay? So Meltzer, this is Wrestling Observer Radio transcript, okay? Meltzer said the Elite was devastated to learn about Ryan's actions outside the ring, and none of his friends knew about his behavior. Wouldn't you think somebody would know something about this if it was just so widespread and it was rampant? And we're going to go back to other people who were also saying, well, I knew I had a bad feeling about this, but the people who were closest to him just thought that, yeah, Ryan is this socially awkward, kind of a weird guy. Okay, so he was just kind of quiet and kept to himself, but he had a really fucking over gimmick. So, okay, again, professional wrestling kind of attracts socially awkward, weird type of people, okay? I'll just fucking put myself out on Front Street, and it's like, yeah, no. You take a look. You just scan the crowd, okay, at any big show that's out there. You'll see some people who are also quite big themselves, and then you'll also see the same type of people showing up all the time in the crowd as well, especially some of those people that just need to be on hard cam side because, I don't know, I guess the show's about you. Oh, fucking weirdos. Anyways, they all said the same thing about Joey, which was, seemed like kind of a socially awkward, kind of a weird guy, but nobody suspected anything. I mean, he went to people's weddings. He knew them. They had known him forever. They were shocked and devastated by all this. The idea that this was some kind of open secret in wrestling, no, it wasn't. Nobody knew a fucking thing because methinks that this wasn't exactly a problem. This was an attempt to try to bring down somebody who's on a rocket ship towards the moon, an astronomical ascent, but at also a very critical time, a guy whose entire brand is work in the indies, okay? So if any sort of chink in the armor would come across, he would falter, and because there was a lot of opportunistic bitches, both men and women that are out there in the professional wrestling scene, if anybody can just decide to lob something up there, like, I don't know, a hashtag wherever you can just make some baseless accusations without any repercussions coming to you, and even if you do step forward with nothing that can be corroborated or proof, you look like a hero and you will be treated as such. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, going back to this soy bitch, Rich Bocchini stated that he regrets ever calling Joey Ryan matches. Again, I went through his social media history, and prior to this stuff coming out, no mentions of it whatsoever. So this dude's just fucking, he's clout chasing at this point. But I got a check mark, and I had to do this. Oh my god, I worked for MLW, and I had to entertain the 14 people who gave a fuck in the crowd. Oh my god. He did so through clenched teeth. Why, was your boyfriend behind you? And he hated it. The idea of Ryan doing a boobplex turned his stomach. The idea of Ryan doing something that he doesn't have in his repertoire, maybe he did it on the indies or something, but he would have been talking with the person on the other side prior to doing this. He wouldn't have just been like, hey, how's it going? No, that wasn't his style. And we're going to get into some of these accusations here really quickly. I just want to get through all of these fucking clout chasers that are out here, okay? Oh, with through grit teeth. Yeah, I was saying way too much. Oh, I'm sorry. Conflating a couple of things. I regretted gritting my teeth and calling Joey Ryan manches. I hated it for numerous reasons. Why? Because somebody's dick was getting over and you couldn't get yours out? That sucks. Oh, when I started on the indies, I said, I'm not calling bullshit wrestling. Jim Cornette's not going to call you, okay? Just fuck off. But I was paid to do the job right, and the fans liked it right. Way too much cognitive dissonance. Goddamn. Ooh, somebody learned a new word and wanted to included into his statements. How adorable. Along with being incredibly stupid and juvenile. It's two men in their fucking underwear squaring off in a choreographed sporting event. That's too stupid for you. Get fucked. And congratulations, where have you gone so far? Nowhere. Shelly Martinez's old ass, speaking of untalented people, stated that she disliked Joey Ryan for years. Okay, again, you disliking somebody is like, whatever. She even told that to his face many times. I'm sure you did. Her reason for not liking Ryan was simple. Because I've known gals he's been involved with. It's not my story to tell, but I'm glad everything is coming out. Again, we went to Dave Meltzer and the people who were around Joey Ryan on the indie scene. Okay, everybody was shocked. This wasn't an open secret. But this, another big-titted has-been, okay, just decided that she wants to jump on this bandwagon. Oh, okay, cool. I understand. David Marquez, the name sounds familiar, also tweeted his disappointment of Joey Ryan. He had a lot of trust that was betrayed. Now a 20-year relationship is gone. Imagine that. Just goes to show you the mentality of current professional wrestlers, okay? I know this was 2020, but it's permeating the fucking industry at this point, okay? Somebody's gonna throw away a 20-year relationship. You must not have been that close, okay, for this to just come out of nowhere. Or maybe you're just virtue signaling on fucking Twitter, because that's what we have here, okay? So in the aftermath of all this stuff, Joey Ryan was fired from Impact Wrestling, who he had an open contract with, because this was prior to, I think, Scott D'Amore taking over and doing whatever Impact's doing right now, which, I don't know, they got a lot of names there from some guys who were released from other companies, and when ROH ended up folding because their booker ended up getting Me Too'd, and then it's like, well, what the fuck do we do? But anyways, still, they got a bunch of people formerly from the Fed, and they're doing their own thing, but they're letting fucking Maria Kanellis get too much stick over there, and that bitch is just a walking Me Too case. The fucking feminism has rotted her fucking brain, okay? But, oh yeah, speaking about Impact Wrestling at that time, yeah, this was, I think, like the whole Bruce Pritchard, Jeff Jarrett kind of coming back in, trying to do something in the interim with Impact, okay? Because this was right after all of the hiring and firing that took place. It's like that company was in total fucking disarray from like 17 until its relaunch. Like, there was some lean moments there where it looked like Impact was going to get sold for a couple of nickels, but they ended up pulling through, so. And he was one of the big draws, at least at the time, which kind of goes to show you what state Impact was in, but then how Joey Ryan could demand such an open contract, continue to work the indies, continue to get his company over. But again, everything was going well for Joey Ryan. And now, look at the quality of people who are fucking accusing him, right? Tony Deppen, right? He's still working the fucking indies and he's never getting himself over. People look forward to when he's on the card. If you're going to a show, oh, Tony Deppen's going to be on the card. Oh, he's worked the indies forever. That'll be cool. But nobody goes to see Tony Deppen, okay? And a much more direct response to Joey Ryan. At this point, Ryan doesn't deserve to get canceled. He deserves to rot in jail. Cool. What has he done that's illegal so far? Well, we'll get to that in a very, very short order. But, of course, once all of this wrapped up, right, Joey Ryan issues a statement on allegations, Bar Wrestling closes down his business. His fucking company, who was getting guys in the business work, had to shut down because he was now on the backs of just allegations. Nothing was ever filed, okay? No charges were ever laid, but simple allegations. Very simple. Incredibly fucking basic, by the way, and incredibly baseless as well. We'll get to Ryan's statement. It's pretty extensive, and it was about the last thing we ever heard from him. And this was back in, June of 2020. He deleted his Twitter, basically went dark, and it was incredibly easy, especially take a look at the date, okay, 2020, okay? Bar wrestling at the time, no indie companies were working. It shut down, never to be opened again. I don't think anybody's even come close to fucking resuscitating that. But anybody who worked for the company, okay, future events were shut down. So guys were no longer getting work, but it was because a sexual predator was finally put in his place, okay? Let's get to his statements here before we get to some of these accusations. I've been watching along with all of you as the hashtag speakout movement has spread across the internet like like syphilis. I am also aware that my name has been mentioned as part of the discussion. I've been contemplating how to respond to everything that has unfolded in the last 3 days. This is an important topic, and it truly deserves the time it is getting, even if it is uncomfortable. After speaking with my attorney, I have been advised not to respond to any specific allegations at this time. I'll do that for you. Don't worry about it. And the truth of the matter is, I don't want to spend time dissecting which parts of the stories are true, which parts are different from what I remember, and which things being said are outright false. It is important for me to use this platform to take responsibility and not attempt to minimize the feelings of anyone that was hurt by me in order to save face. Yeah, that's the standard. Listen, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to prepare for any discovery on any other potential lawsuits, none of which ended up materializing, except for the ones that he filed for wrongful termination against Impact Wrestling, and then another one for, I think, MLW, but we'll get to that once we get to the aftermath of all this stuff, okay? So instead, I would like to take this opportunity to publicly share, this opportunity, you just been fucking pilloried from post to post on the back of baseless allegations, and now it's an opportunity. Come on, Joy. Some parts of my private life with everyone. It is not a part of my life that I am proud of, but taking responsibility is important. Today, I must take responsibility for the way that I have behaved in the past. I will do that right now. As I'm sure you all aware, several years ago, and all in a very short period of time, a lot of things changed in my life. The dick flip went viral. I started traveling around the world and living a rock and roll lifestyle. Nice. I came into contact with a lot of people, including women. Dun, dun, dun. And that's where you No, I'm just kidding. And the truth is, I did not always treat people with respect. Oh my God, you had a few one-night stands. My heart aches. And I will acknowledge that it is possible that I pursued people that I thought were interested in me and invaded their personal space and made them feel uncomfortable in the process. Oh, you got shot down on an attempt, okay? It happens to everybody. Now, if you continue to follow it up in a creepy way, it's not exactly the best game that's out there, but again, that's also not illegal. What he's confessed to at this point is trying to fuck, somebody saying no, and he's like, okay. Nearly 2 years ago, my ex-wife and I were separated. The separation impacted me greatly, and I began to reflect on the person I had been previous to it, okay, and the person that I wanted to be. During that self-reflection, I was not proud of what I saw. As a result, I entered counseling in October 2018, where they told you how bad of a person you are, because most counselors just hate generic masculinity in all of its forms, but okay, and I still attend every week to this very day. I have been on prescription medication. I have worked every day for nearly 2 years to be a person that respects not only people's boundaries, but respects people. If you felt like you were a person that I did not treat with respect, I apologize. Aside from my past, I have been reaching out to some of the people involved, and we have had positive interactions and started the healing process. I have worked hard to make wrestling a safe and welcoming place for everyone. I will make up for my shortcomings of the past by working harder in the future to continue that. with all the different social movements happening right now. Yes, but yes, Burn Lives Matter. Yes, wonderful, fantastic. That was going on at the time. Remember, this was during the summer of love, but again, women most affected. We need to take this opportunity to listen and learn and continue to strive every day to do better. This is kind of like one of those open-ended things. Well, if you felt bad, I feel sorry for you and I apologize for that. This was trying to be like, okay, once all of this shit fucking blows over, hopefully I can have a career after this. Yeah, no, exactly. And especially based on some of these accusations, because we got the one here from Roxanne, okay? I forget what her name is now in the Fed, but at the time, yeah, she was going around as Roxy. She was the final Ring of Honor women's champion after that whole championship got motherfucked on the way out the door. But anyways, still, she vacated it, and now oh my god, all of a sudden now she's got a big shiny NXT contract and a big push. Wow, exactly. It's almost like accusations like hers, it just you don't even have to, be tangentially criminal or even, remotely inappropriate, and then you get rewarded with it. This is why these types of accusations, these Me Too accusations, really need to be punished. Okay, because shit like this, okay, onto the dog pile, because as you can see right here, okay, speaking out, okay, cool. So what are you speaking out about? As someone who has dealt with things like anxiety and depression caused by things outside of wrestling, as you've seen, okay, during Joey Ryan's statements there, he saved all of that fucking fluff for the ass end of it, okay? So he's like, yeah, no, some shit was happening at the time, and, I was taking steps in order to deal with it. She front loads it. Typical female sophistry with things that, like anxiety and depression caused by things outside of wrestling, mental health problems are not an excuse to make wrestling anything other than a safe space. I fucking want to die. I saw a certain story the other day on Joey Ryan that made me feel sick to my stomach. So, okay, all the way up until that point, everything was fine. And then you decided to dogpile. Okay. I always thought of him as a good friend. He was always nice to me, but I always stayed cautious when I was around him. But everything was fine up until he read a certain story. Oh, okay. I respected him just like I was taught to respect any vet in the business. I respected him for believing his only intentions were to amplify intergender and women's wrestling. I like to believe that I saw through the gimmick. Oh, exactly. I saw the man that was behind the monster. So, if Trudeau didn't get rid of all of the guns in Canada, I assumed it was common knowledge for a 40-year-old man not to flirt with somebody underage, but obviously not. Way to poison the well once again. I got mental problems, and I think that it's inappropriate for a 40-year-old man to flirt with somebody who's underage. Given the fact that now we're 2 years on from this stuff, I wonder what her takes are on the current climate of the people that she would normally associate with. Just wondering. But yeah, my stance is firm on this one, okay? Don't be trying to fuck somebody who's underage, okay? So I'd agree with you, but knowing where this goes, get fucked. The first uncomfortable comment he made to me at the show was, okay, again, she was working a show, right? She was working a show, okay, with grown-ass men and women. So it's not inappropriate to assume that everybody there is of legal age, unless you make it very, very, very fucking apparent, okay? Like, there's one guy who's out on the indies right now, Nick Wayne. Everybody knows that Nick Wayne is 16 or 17, okay? They know that he is underage, okay? That is decided, that's known. Everybody else, though, normally on the indies are guys on the way up or guys on the way down. So if you're not a big name out there, if people don't know who you are, you have to make them aware of that. That's reliant on you. But I got mental health problems, and nothing is ever my fault. And it's called being a fucking woman. Deal with it. The first uncomfortable comment came to me at the show is like, I feel so bad for flirting with you. I said, what? He replied, I feel so bad for flirting with you because you're 17. I could be your dad. And he laughed. So again, okay, he saw somebody who he was attracted to, found out that she was 17, and was like, oh fuck, sorry if I made you feel bad or anything like that. Okay? That's what he's getting Me Too'd over. Feeling bad, okay, and apologizing. Sorry if I made you feel inappropriate. I felt really bad about this, and my stomach hurt after this. She has a contract with the Fed right now. Can you fucking believe this? My stomach's turning and my head's about to fucking explode. I tried to tell myself that he was just joking. He laughed. He said, "Ooh!" and awkwardly laughed it off. In another instance, I had just turned 18 and I had dropped him off at his hotel at a local show. You felt so bad about it the first time. You came back when you were of legal age and then you drove him in your car. Oh, I hate this. I did not want to because Joey made me feel uncomfortable. How so? Everything was fine up until the point where you just recently read an article. I told the promoter I didn't want to because Joey made me feel uncomfortable, but he insisted that I did. So I felt I had no other choice. I felt like, no. It's your car. You can do whatever you want, okay? And again, I'm pressing X'd out on this entire situation. During the mostly quiet and uncomfortable car ride, that's again, once again, that's just your perception of things. And again, what we know about Joey Ryan, just kind of a quiet, socially awkward guy. The last time allegedly that you guys had met, he apologized because you were underage. And if he was doing anything, it's like, oh, sorry. Hey, man, you're 17. You're going to be a great worker one day. Congratulations, kid. Glad you're getting your reps in. Start early and it'll be wonderful. Fantastic. Okay, bye. Never want to see you again, at least for another 6 months or to a year. Okay, bye. So he's done everything right so far. So I don't even know. Anyways, yeah, during the mostly quiet and uncomfortable car ride, he asked for a piece of gum, and I said, in case you want to make out. Okay. I brushed it off with an awkward laugh, and I was pulled up to the hotel, and I asked if I wanted to go down, and if I wanted to get down, and I denied. He said, well, it was worth a shot. Seeing the stories that have came up made me realize that those were not jokes. Oh my God. I didn't read the second page. I just read the first one and realized that, anything else I wanted to cover today is totally getting 76th. And this is what we're focusing on. 76, is that the right terminology? Everything else is getting axed. How about that? But he knows now that you're 18. You're a legal fucking adult, okay? He makes an offhanded remark. You say, no, I'm good. And he's like, okay, thanks for the ride, bye. And that made you feel bad. And that made you need to continue his downfall. I hate you. I hate you so much. I hope you break your leg next time you're in the ring. Whenever I would tell somebody the things Joey would say, like what? You want a piece of gum in case you want to make out later? Like, I don't even know what to say to that. Like, you can say that's bad game, but like what? It was a quiet car ride. He made a comment. You chuckled. What am I missing? Whenever I would tell somebody the things Joey would say, they would tell me, that's just the way Joey is. So I dealt with it. But no, it shouldn't have been that way. And no one should ever have to feel as uncomfortable in any locker room. It was in a car. 2 adults were alone in a car. Oh! I am disgusted reading stories about his actions behind closed doors, and I will no longer share any locker room with him. So yeah. That's the gist of the 16 accusers that came out. He tried to fuck, nobody was down with it, and he's like, okay, thanks, bye. That's the extent of this horrific abuser who lost his company, lost his job, can no longer get work in the fucking industry even 2 years after, okay? So now the guy's just out trying to live his life, right? Apparently he got picked up and he's working at Disneyland. Now, if he actually did anything sexually deviant, he probably would have been, upheld by Disneyland, okay? But there's a picture here, okay? He's working, I think it's the Jungle Cruise ride or something? He's just looking like he's staring straight ahead. He's like, oh, fucking, I was one of the biggest indie stars of all fucking time, and now I got to work a minimum wage job at Disneyland. Great, wonderful, fantastic. So what do you have here? You've got the ringsideroster.com. Okay, and what do they do out here? This is straying, okay? This is another one of these devious motherfuckers, okay? Remember, Me Too is just about exposing corruption in different industries, and Speaking Out is supposed to be specifically for the deviancy in the wrestling industry, okay? They just want their stories to be heard. This is the end goal. They're not after, okay, finding truth and honesty and reconciliation for the victims. They want life ruination on people they don't like. Case and fucking point. Joey Ryan, who in June of 2020, and this was June 26th, 2022, over 2 fucking years later, was accused by several women of sexual misconduct during the speaking out movement. Nobody ever filed fucking charges. Nobody did anything. They just had their statements on fucking Twitter, hashtag speaking out, ruined the man's life. Now he's working a private fucking job, okay? Causing him to be released from Impact Wrestling, is now working as a cast member on Jungle Cruise Ride at Disneyland. Have a magical day. So they're trying to out him. They're trying to get him fired. That's why they're posting this stuff. That's why they're including all of those extra fucking details. And lo and fucking behold, Joey Ryan fired from Jungle Cruise job at Disneyland. They want these people dead. They want them destitute. They want them to never work again. They just want them to crawl under a fucking rock and die because they're all mentally fucked in the head people. I'm so pissed off by this. Days after the photo of him went viral, Ryan was fired from his role after 3 months. The dude is trying to get on with his fucking life. He can no longer pursue his wrestling goals. He has to go into the private fucking industry, okay? He's working for Disney, which normally would be a little bit sus, okay? But this dude is trying to just fucking move on, okay? He's not posting anything. He doesn't have any social media accounts. I haven't seen fucking word one from this dude after announcing that bar wrestling is closing, okay? A disgraced former wrestler, Joey Ryan, was fired from his job at Disneyland in California. The LA Times reported the news Wednesday that Ryan, a real name Joseph Meehan, yeah, no, exactly, just put his docs out there, that's wonderful, had worked for 3 months on the Jungle Cruise attraction on a probationary period. Everybody's been hired from a job, okay, knowing that, unless you've been headhunted from another company, you're going to have that probationary period, and then after the 3 months, then you can negotiate your salary and all that stuff. Everybody knows about a fucking probationary period, so he was brought in, okay, and then this comes out. Oh, wow! You didn't mention that you had all of these sexual misconducts in your past? Yeah, because none of them materialized with actual charges. See, you can make these claims. Never have to back any of them up. They never even have to be that bad. All they're going to see is, okay, we're going to type in Joey Ryan, 16 different accusers. Nah, get this guy out. Get this guy out. They're ruining people's lives, and they're never going to stop. Never going to stop. They're going to take a picture of him with a fucking McDonald's hat and try to get him fired, okay? They're not going to be happy until he puts one in the fucking back of his mouth. Park officials declined to hire him for a full-time role, but declined to say why. I wonder. However, the news comes days after the picture of Ryan working at the ride went viral. No, yeah, we'll take a look at how fucking viral it went. 11 retweets, 13 quote tweets, 45 likes. When I was using this platform, I was getting better fucking engagement, okay? And this is one of Ringside Rosters, okay? And let's just take a look at, their follower count, 504 followers, okay? So this is a literal fucking nobody clout chasing in order to continue to ruin somebody's life. The Times piece headlined, Disneyland employed a professional wrestler accused of sexual harassment. The LA Times, Ringside, whatever, all of these other bitches are fucking trying to kill Joey Ryan. There's no other way to put it. They're trying to make him destitute, okay? Like several other people in Los Angeles too. There's no reason for this. There's no fucking charges. The guy is trying to move on with his life. It's a totally different industry. What does this have to do with anything? Look at the different fucking groomers that Disney is propping up, okay? They won't get rid of a fucking one of them, but a guy who's working at a park, okay? Working a fucking part-time job at fucking Disneyland. He gets fired because of years-old accusations from some clout-chasing cunts out there. Wow. Mr. Meehan is no longer employed with us, a Disneyland spokesperson said, declining to elaborate on why he was not given a permanent job and whether the harassment allegations played a role into that decision. Yeah, because they probably knew nothing about that, okay? Officials did say that their screening process includes a criminal background check. And again, no charges, so nothing would come up on the fucking background check, okay? That's how they get around this stuff. That's why there's no fucking repercussions on these baseless fucking actions, and people continue to this fucking day to get away with it unless you have the money and the resources and the access to high-level individuals like Johnny Depp. People like this go down every fucking day. And as it says here, yeah, he was fired from Impact Wrestling, also shut down his bar wrestling indie group amidst attempts to apologize, explain, and rationalize his behavior. Fuck you, Josh Nason, you cunt. He hasn't wrestled since early summer of 2020. Yeah, exactly, before all of this stuff came out. A guy who was hot as Anybody else in the industry immediately, in a fucking instant, dead. Career is fucking dead because this industry is run by fucking activists. Every single major podcast that discusses wrestling, every fucking outlet, woke as the day is fucking long. Cultaholic, Wrestle Talk, What Culture, Wrestling Observer, Wrestling Inc., Ringside News, Fightful, all of them are run by bitches, absolute fucking pussies. And that's why whenever shit like this pops up, you bet your ass I'm going to be talking about it, because I give a fuck about people's livelihoods. This is sick shit. He later filed a $10 million lawsuit against Impact and $15 million lawsuits against 3 of the accusers. All of the lawsuits were dismissed or dropped by Ryan. Yeah, depending on when they all got... Or, I'm sorry, not when, but where they all got fired. Yeah, I see something else popping up as well. Okay, so they just get dismissed because defamation against a public figure is a high fucking bar. Why do you think Johnny Depp sued Amber Heard in Virginia? Okay, because they don't have an anti-slap statute. Okay, in most of the states, okay, including Texas, okay, red Texas, right, bring in a defamation suit on some very legitimate claims, okay? Ask Vic Mignogna, voice of Broly. Yeah, he filed his defamation lawsuit in Texas, and it got slapped down, not because he didn't have legitimate cause, just because the judge didn't fucking feel like it. All the suits were dismissed or dropped by Ryan, but the Times pointed out Ryan's attorney has filed a federal case regarding one that was thrown out due to an anti-slap statute. Exactly. He probably had a case there, okay? Listen, it's pretty obvious. The guy hasn't worked, okay, since all these accusations came out. And looking at the veracity of some of these claims, how could you back up any of this stuff? How could you go in front of a court and say, well, he asked me if I could fix my stinking fucking breath, and then he laughed, and I felt bad about it years later. What? And he lost a business, his career, and now I would say he probably has a very, very good shot of suing the fuck out of what? The LA Times by publishing this picture? Okay. Ringside Roster? Oh, definitely. But they probably ain't got a fucking pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. So, but yeah, no, here's the 6 IQ take of what the anti-slap statute is. Which can be used to prevent powerful entities from intimidating critics for practicing free speech. Not when they're fucking lies, which is exactly why Amber Heard was running around saying, well, I'm an American and I have the right to free speech. No, because you were hoping that Johnny Depp's lawsuit was going to get anti-slapped down. But I digress. This is so fucking sick. The guy is trying to move on, realizing that wrestling just won't bring him back in because the entire industry fucking sucks. Now you can't even do that. There is no target out there that won't be hit by these opportunistic cunts, and you gotta slap them down at every fucking opportunity. They're not gonna be happy until somebody ends up eating a bullet, and all of these shitty fucking wrestling sites out there are complicit in it, cheering it on. I'm a good ally. Just can't wait for all of the fucking cases come up against them. The only thing is they probably got receipts on that because all of these self-proclaimed male feminists, you know who are the biggest creeps ever. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.